Well, before the break, we were talking with Keisha Shante. She was talking about high school and fame and how to hold it all together at such a young age. Now I'm joined by Lee Chung, also known as the Vinyl Killer. Does that ring a bell for folks out there who like to dix it up on the dance floor? He knows a thing or two about high schools and music. And we did learn that Keisha toured high schools with her inspirational message. Well, Lee has been hitting the high school corridors too, but with a turntable. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hip-hop in the schools. Isn't that the last thing my kids need? Don't worry, Ma. This could be a good thing. How do you propose to be inspirational to kids with, you know, hip-hop music, which, as we talked about with Keisha, has some negative connotations? It does, definitely. And it takes the music to the next level. They can take the music they love and be able to now play with it like Lego, you know, and mix with it and be just hands-on with it. And you think that's an important educational tool for kids? For sure, definitely. It's so hands-on. They have listening skills, you know. They just get dedicated, focused, and they get right in on it. All right, well, let's see how you do your work. Have a look. My name's Lee Chung. I'm AKA the Vinyl Killer, and we're at Ursula Franklin Academy here in Toronto. So you change the mood around in the setting, so whatever you're DJing is that vibe that you guys are creating. The students that take this class are, you know, they range from grade 9 to grade 12, and it's really students that are just interested in it, or they're like, oh wow, that's really cool. You know, here's an opportunity for them to actually see what it's all about. When you're scratching, you have a beat in the back and you have another record that is gonna make your sound when you move your hand back and forth on the record. Lee told me that he thinks scratching is like a conversation, like talking. So like, if you hear a sound in your head, just like try to express it with your hand on the turntable. We got this beat playing on here, and I want to hear some baby scratches. My greatest hope for this is really to have kids have an opportunity to find something that they love, you know, whether it's math or science or, you know, music, and they just really get in there and find something that they love to do.
We have to have a good sense of music and the beat that's going for each song. So as long as you can focus on both songs going at the same time, then you're good to go.
Awesome! That was awesome.
Well, as an educator, what I see is anytime, whether you're an adult or you're a kid, whenever you are engaged and you feel that you have a right to choose what you want to be doing, behavior's not an issue. You're captivated and you're having a great time, and then learning doesn't have to be separate from enjoying what you're doing.
I see you guys are like totally like, what is he talking about? Like, I would love this to be for Canada, you know? I mean, like, we have so many kids that are in, you know, abused homes or, you know, underprivileged youth that could use an opportunity like this. And I would love to see this be available for all the high school kids, or, you know, kids, one, who are interested in it, and two, you know, sort of are lacking a little bit of direction. You know, give them something that they can aspire to, you know, something that they can just grab onto and really take for themselves.
All right, and here you are with all your gear right here in the studio setup. But I want to ask you, how do you feel that the DJ skills that you're imparting to kids like Hunter, who's also joining us, one of your students, how's that going to help them in the real world? Are they all supposed to get jobs as DJs?
Definitely, they could. You know, there's a huge market out there, but in terms of the skills that they learn from DJing, listening skills, hand-eye coordination they get to improve on, self-confidence. You know, the class that I teach at, we do it. They get to have a dance part at the end and DJ for everyone else. So they get to work with that communication.
The popularity goes like this?
For sure, in the school, you know, and even in the class, and then they get to DJ for the school dances too.
Hunter, why did you take the course? Why do you think this is an important thing for you to be learning at school?
Yeah, I always thought that I was big into hip hop and stuff like that, and you know, I wasn't really good at dancing or anything like that. So I was like, oh, maybe I should try turntablism, right? DJing. Maybe I should do that, and I just got on the turntables for a little while. They felt nice, stuff like that, so I continued on with it.
And what do you feel about the fact, or what do your parents feel about the fact that this is part of your education, your official public school education?
I think they like it. I think they like that I'm taking an instrument and stuff like that. Because I just got turntables at my house, and they just want me to keep it in the basement, though, because it's a little loud. Yeah. About it.
All right, well, I'm just dying to get in there, because you're going to show me how to do this, right? Okay. So, explain me. How do you do this?
Well, basically, we've got two turntables and a mixer. Okay. This is the one that controls the sound. So on here, we just have a record that you can just go back and forth.
Waka, 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 waka. Okay, I get that, yep.
And over here, we've got an instrument. So I've just got the horns there, so I can add that on top of this.
So you put pieces of tape on your records in advance to let you know. Is that what all DJs do? They've got it all planned out?
Yes and no. I mean, like some DJs do, some DJs just go on the fly.
Okay.
You know? But you've got it there. These are, you know, techniques that you can learn.
You've queued it up to a special point that you know is going to sound nice, and then you'll work with that once you get there.
Yeah.
It's funny, I'm a child of the 70s. The idea of even touching a vinyl record right there just seems, it's counterintuitive. You're not supposed to touch them. You're supposed to lift them like this. So I know I'm older than you guys. Okay, I'll adapt. So what do we do here?
Okay, well, we're just going to play that one there. You're going to put your hand on the record.
Yep.
Right over here.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're going to hold it, so while I put the motor on it, and you can start going back and forth with it.
This is good. Yeah, this is making a fun party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you can play that one as you just let it go.
I think I'm getting a D.
Yeah, there you
How
go.
do you get graded on this, in all seriousness?
You take the theories, and you work with the theories to be able to program your music in the order and the hand-eye coordination. You're actually already working on it.
Is there musical theory involved in this?
Lots. You take the music that you listen to, the music you enjoy, and you start thinking about what order you'd put it in, where you would mix it in, when you would blend the songs together. Definitely.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it all
like a
comes
musical
out.
instrument.
It's just like an instrument.
Anything else, like violin
Which
or
I'm playing
anything.
quite badly. Okay, so now what do we do?
So you're just going to let this one play here.
Okay, let it
Yeah.
go.
And then on here, I've got that horn, so I can just scratch this one in.
That's fun.
So you're just going to put your
You have
hand
to
on
make
here.
sure that the yellow piece of tape is queued up there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but how did you do that? Okay, I'm having fun. I still got to ask how. I'm sure a lot of parents are skeptical. Can I turn this off so that you can actually hear for a second? I just feel like some parents might be skeptical that this is coursework. I like the idea, and boosting self-confidence for kids is huge. Do you feel like this is enough learning that's going to count beyond the world of the club?
They could spend their time being out partying, doing, you know, whatever, wherever, you know, or they could be, you know, in their basement, in their studio, you know, working on this and just focusing, and you know what they're doing. They're just playing around with their music.
So it's almost like a positive way to navigate through the club scene.
definitely.
You're not out on the floor doing E, you're up at the turntables making people feel good.
Being the DJ, yeah.
Okay. All right, Hunter, I want to see what you've learned, because you're the best student in the class, clearly. That's why you got brought in here. So let's show us some of your
So you
moves.
just cue back up and then...
Oh, I don't want to do. Okay, well, first I'm going to cue it,
Okay.
so it's on. And then I'm just going to turn up the volume. Now I'll go to this one. I'll basically do the same thing that Lee does. And this scratch is called a cut. And it's basically, I'm just taking part of the sound and cutting it up.
What kind of grades is he getting for work like this?
Oh, he gets an A+ for
Yeah.
sure. A+.
Well, it's interesting because I can totally see you've got your groove on, you're feeling good. That's a huge, anybody would be proud, any parent would be proud to see their fella feeling that, in his element. Have you got stories of kids that you've worked with, students that you've seen have some kind of transformation through learning this in school?
Definitely. Just even the high school that we teach at, the kids just stay after school and they just so want to give their help. They just want to learn more. Can I play on this? Can I hang out? And whereas they just could be going home, doing
They
whatever.
could be going home and doing their homework.
They could be going home and doing their homework, but it adds that that sense of focus and the time that they get to play on this stuff. Okay, it's focus, and now you have the other things that you work on too. Your homework, math, science, whatever. Give yourself some DJ time too.
Do you believe that if you feel good about something that you like doing, that it helps you sort of take on the more daunting aspects of high school curriculum, maybe? Like you feel better about doing your calculus, and if you've got...
Or even if sometimes I'm really stuck in math, I'm really stuck in science or something like that, or I'm my essay's not coming together or something like that, I just go on my turntables and I just scratch it out for a little while, right? Just sort of like a release point. You just scratch it out, right? Let it out your anger, or let out whatever
your
you're feeling.
frustration.
Yeah.
And then you can go back to tackling the science.
Yeah.
All right, well, you've sold me. But, what about CDs? I mean, so many people that grew up with this kind of stuff, now we're all CDs. Is vinyl the only way to do DJ stuff?
No, definitely not. There's CDs, there's
do CD
MP3s,
stuff
you could
too?
do, the whole lot, but I'm a vinyl guy.
I have to say I'm feeling a little bit old in this conversation. You guys are cool. Thank you for being here and for sharing and for giving me a D on my DJing spinning tactics. I'll have to keep coming to class. All right, well, thanks to Lee Chung, also known as the Vinyl Killer, and Hunter Domino. A question for you guys. Are you on Team Oprah? Or has her mission gone off the rails for you lately? Has she lost touch with her base, as they say? That is the question for our Lazy Girls Book Club coming up next. Coming up later, what's your sense of Oprah's message?
Believe in yourself.
She's like spiritual Amway.
She's the opiate to the masses. I think she represents hope. I think she just sort of lifts their spirits in whichever manipulative way she can.